Hey man, first and foremost, I hope you guys that are watching this video are having an amazing day. I want y'all to take a quick journey with me real quick. And maybe I can give a little bit of, from my experiences, I can give a little bit of a perspective as to where a lot of the anger and the black and brown culture comes from. Now, I try to stay quiet on a lot of things that I don't know anything about. I don't know a whole lot about the Me Too movement. I don't know how being um, a woman must feel, or being in any special category, a white male, any of that stuff. I know what it feels like to be a young black man. Well, I guess I'm old now, growing up in this country. Now, let me preface this by saying I feel like I lived a pretty awesome upbringing. Uh, my grandmothers, my mom, my aunts, especially my Aunt Deb, did a pretty good job, actually a damn good job, of sheltering me from a lot of things and opening me up to experience a lot of different cultures and a lot of different viewpoints and those things, which are really important and plays a key role in the experiences I'm able to have today. But when I watched the video last week of that young brother being shot, it shook me to my core, because I was able to see, I saw me in that video. Those of you that know me know I exercise daily. I'm either out riding my bike, running, or in the gym daily. And I've never really been apprehensive about wherever there's pavement at, and if I need to go run, I'm going to run. So I first and foremost thank God for not for just keeping me from running down the wrong road, in the presence of the wrong people and the wrong energy. But I saw me in that video. I saw me. I saw my sons. I saw my uncles. I saw my grandfather, and it's made me think about a lot of stuff. So when I look at this video and I look at how people are reacting to it, there's a lot of great people that are posting to bring awareness to what's really going on. And something that I see that is reoccurring are people that have the attitude of, well, you guys should get over it. You know, talking about black people or brown people in the instance that it happens to them as well, or what happened before the video started. Like there's this constant willingness to want to justify killing someone of color. We're not dealing with the fact of how terribly wrong it is first and how awful it is. But there's some people that are like, they basically have the mindset of he or she or they deserve it. They had to do something for that to happen to them, right? And I was thinking today while I was driving that attitude comes from a lot of people have the perspective that we're just all bad. They have demonized, and when I say they, mainstream media, the people with the loudest voices, because negativity is always loudest. They're out in the street protesting, they're doing whatever to bring awareness to their cause. And it's, sadly enough, a lot of that has to do with hurting those that are you know, in a place to where they can't really defend themselves. But anyway, so I was thinking that we've been demonized so much that people, like, that could have been me. Just think about me. And y'all know me. Like, I don't have a police record. I don't, trouble ain't been my thing. I wouldn't make it in jail. Like, I don't do that whole deal. But that could have been me. That could have been your friend, Robert Perry, right? Going on a jog, father of 4 kids, son, nephew, grandchild, gunned down doing just what I do on a day-to-day basis that makes me happy, makes me a better person, keeps my health in check, right? Gives me that time to speak to God. It could have been me. So I was thinking, now mind you, let's go back a little ways, take a little trip back. The African people that were bonded into slavery, brought over to help build this country, right? In shackles. They worked for free for hundreds of years. When slavery was supposed to end, because I don't think it's ended yet, it just has a different name, there was supposed to be reparations paid, 40 acres and a mule, so you could start your life, right? A lot of the things that you see now, successful people and people that have generational wealth, it comes from those that settled and they've been able to pass that wealth down. So when slavery ended, those same opportunities were supposed to be given to us. They never happened. Not only did they not happen, but the continued terrorizing, because that's what it is. It's terror. They won't call it terror because it sounds bad. And terror is, it's a phrase we want to give to those brown and that's a whole nother video. But it never stopped. So when I heard the stories growing up of young men being pulled from their beds at night and lynchings taking place, the Emmett Till story, whistled at a woman, possibly. We don't even know the truth to that. Beaten a kid, same age as my oldest son, beyond recognition. Do you know how much hate you have to have in order to take a child, brain hasn't formed yet, hasn't experienced life yet, and beat them beyond recognition, right? You do a simple Google search. I've seen actual magazines and books that have had the pictures where they would do public hangings, all right? Find somebody guilty of a crime, and at that time, and even at this time, being black or brown you're guilty enough. So just think back in the 50s and 40s and those times when they were doing, or whenever they were doing the public hangings, like families were coming out taking pictures of these men that were lynched and hanging from trees. Like, this is something that some people used to just do for fun. You know what I mean? Like, they found entertainment in it. All right, so when you see these things that have happened throughout the courses of years, I think about the raping of slave women by plantation owners, and taking and that woman having to go back to the slave quarters to a husband that she had to marry in secret because it wasn't supposed to happen, but she's getting raped regularly by this man that owns a plantation, and it's disheartening. That's been going on. The 90s. I can't. The late 80s and 90s really took a toll on black families. I do a lot of listening to how cocaine came into the world, because I've had everybody's family's been affected by it, but I got a firsthand view at how it affected and destroyed families. So basically the United States allowed cocaine to come into the U.S. The money that was generated was deviated through these different accounts to give back to contrafighters. Like, it's a whole, you should take some time and do some research on it. But anyway, cocaine hit the streets. Well, somebody found a better way, or a cheaper, more efficient way to sell cocaine, to create rocks, crack cocaine, basically. Now, with this crack cocaine, what they did was they started to give massive sentences to those that were caught with crack cocaine. But if you were found with powder cocaine, the sentence was a lot lesser. Now, think about this. Who could afford to buy a kilo of cocaine, break it down into crack cocaine, and who could afford to buy It's the pure cocaine to snort, like they still do today. So, as you guessed it, black and brown people were thrown into jails at ridiculous rates. Some of them are still there now. There's some murderers, killers, pedophiles that have gotten out of jail before those that were found with crack cocaine have. Same thing as cocaine, just in a different form. Definitely targeting certain people. That being said, a lot of the males, the men that couldn't find jobs, right, because of systemic racism, ended up turning to fast money. Started selling crack cocaine to try to make a way, to try to provide. Only that, but they're destroying their own people, so we have to take responsibility for that as well. But anyway, you take the male out of that household and put him in jail for 30 years. Now you have a mom that's having to raise the kids, and she can't teach a young man how to be a man. She can do her best, right? The kids are unsupervised because now mom has to work 2 or 3 jobs in order to subsidize what the male was bringing in, whether he was working or whether he just got pulled over for being brown, and it was the day that the cop wanted to, lock somebody up and found something on him, because drugs have been planted too. We have evidence of that as well. That created a vacuum in the community that still to this day, I think, affects a lot of our people. My dad got into a lot of trouble, while I was growing up, so he wasn't around that much. But I did have my grandfathers, and they made sure to kind of plant those seeds, to give me those little things that I needed to be a better man, or just what little that they had, because they lived through this time, the lynchings, the burnings, the raping, the breeding this slave with this slave to create stronger. They lived through all this. So what little that they had, they gave me, and I held on to it. Even to this day, if somebody older speaks, I always listen, because it's got me out of a lot of trouble. And it taught me a lot that I'm able to pass down to my son. So if you just think about that journey we went on from slavery, and the cases from the time we arrived here until May 9, 2020, there's countless cases of injustices that have happened. So that's where that anger comes from. So if you're one of those people of the mindset, and I love all of y'all, like there's no hate in me, because I think that whatever you do, if you treat people a certain way, if you do something to people, it's going to come to you tenfold. It may not even come to you directly. It may come to your child or your child's child. I believe it comes back around. So I have to love. That's where this is coming from, a place of love and the attempt to have you maybe understand some things. If you're one of these people that are always of the mindset of, what did that person do to deserve this? When you've seen them get killed in cold blood, or just get over the slavery deal, or just get over what's still going on today. Just do some research. Just like Google is there, like technology is there, and educational materials are readily available. But always understand this: if somebody is suffering for something, if you repeatedly hear somebody talk about something, then chances are there's some truth to what they're talking about. And you should do some research on these things. I'm speaking from my experiences and the things that I have researched and my view on things. And I just want to enlighten people to be a little bit more empathetic, because at some point in time, the way the world works is that situation could be reversed, right? And I think you can hate social media, you can hate these camera phones and people doing things, but look at what it's brought to light, right? Look at the things that you've been able to see firsthand, and think about all the times that those cameras didn't exist, or even if they did exist. This perfect instance is This young brother that was killed in February, it was recorded, and it's just coming to light. Here it is, May. Like, it's just, this buzz is around it now because it's spreading like wildfire. Just imagine if that video didn't exist and you read about it in the paper. Would you have said to yourself, he probably deserved it? Or took those men at their word that there was a rash of burglaries and he fit the profile? Everybody black fit the profile. I was born into a world where I look like the usual suspect. But just imagine if you had read that in the paper or you had heard about it. The first thing that a lot of people would have did was said they were right for doing what they did. They took a criminal off the street and serves him well. Video showed you that wasn't the case. No matter what he did, right? There's a way to handle every situation. And the last thing that I should be concerned about if I have an interaction with someone is losing my life. Right? Just think about these things, man. I had some time, and this video went a little bit longer than I thought it would. I'm actually gonna put it on my podcast, man. So I wanted to share that with you guys, man, and I hope it helps someone out. It's fine if you don't agree. It's fine if you don't want to hear anything that I have to say. That's why we're where we are now, because no one wants to talk about it. And those that want to talk about it are talking to people who don't want to hear it. Because when you hear something, you got to take accountability for it. If you take accountability for it, you have to change it. And no one wants to change. A lot of people are fine the way that things are, with things the way that they are. Right? So a couple days ago when I posted, a lot of us don't, the backlash and Make America Great Again, we have our gauge on that is a little bit, the perspective is a little bit different from yours. Not saying that there's some things about America that could be a lot better to make it great, but there's also a hard time finding that place throughout the course of history where black or brown or women or disenfranchised people where it was great, right? And who was it great for? Just something to think about, man. Y'all feel free to share this if it helps somebody, if it makes you hate me or love me, whatever the case may be. There's an unfriend button, there's a block button. Do whatever you got to do to feel good about you, man. But I wanted to get that off my chest. I thought it would enlighten some people and kind of open up some communication and some understanding, man. I love y'all. Even y'all that hate me after hearing all this, man. I love y'all too. Can't stand y'all sometime, but I love you, man. Y'all be good.